What's up, Orlando Magic fans? Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Sidelines. And today, I'm going to be giving my predictions for the Orlando Magic this season. We're going to do this a little bit different. We're going to basically give our guys the end of the season awards, like, you know, when they give out MVP, Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, so on and so forth. So I will give you my winner and then my runner-up in each category. And without further ado, let's get started. Starting off with our most improved player of the year, and I think that will end up being Markelle Fultz. I think he's finally been healthy for a full summer. He's going into the season healthy and knowing his role as the de facto starting point guard, and I think he will keep that role throughout the season. And I think his stats are going to drastically change. The past couple seasons, he's averaged anywhere from 10 to 12 points a game. Last season, I believe it was around 14, which was a career high for him. I think he can bump those numbers up to around 16 or 17 points a game, while upping his assists to about 7 or 8 a game. And that would make him a really great point guard, along with spectacular defense on the perimeter. He's a hound on defense, and I think he's going to continue to show his value in that way. And I think he could easily become the Orlando Magic's kind of Drew Holiday type of player for them, and that would be a huge asset for the Magic this season. For the runner-up, I have Jalen Suggs, who has won the starting shooting guard spot early on in the season, and I think he's going to make drastic improvements with his shooting, specifically out of the corners. He's always been a good defender. I think he's playing much more under control so far this preseason. I'd like to see him continue to improve that and cut down on the turnovers and, you know, maybe sloppy passes. But I think Jalen is also going to have a really nice season, probably averaging double figures as well, but playing great defense and really being that glue guy in the starting lineup. So next up, we have Sixth Man of the Year, and I think the winner here is pretty obvious. Cole Anthony, as the Magic have re-signed him to a 3-year, $39 million extension, and I think that shows real belief in him being that first guy off the bench, that punch off the bench, that energy off the bench. Cole's value is very much off the court as much as it is on the court. He's obviously a fantastic player, really solid shooter and scorer, and improving defensively as well, but Cole's value really comes out as being a culture guy and really being a voice in that locker room so that guys feel comfortable when they do come to Orlando. He's always the first guy texting guys when they get drafted here or signed, and I think that's a huge underrated part about Cole and the value that he brings to this team. And another guy that's just like him is the runner-up for Sixth Man of the Year, and I think that will be Mo Wagner. Obviously, the guy can score, he can shoot the ball a little bit, he brings that grittiness, that toughness, that almost annoying, you know, type of player that people hate to play against, but you love him as your teammate. And I think he'll definitely be the runner-up for Sixth Man of the Year this year. I think he'll score a lot for us. I think he will carry that bench at times, him and Cole, in terms of scoring the basketball. And I think he's going to be extremely valuable, and he's always been pretty underrated on this team. Now we have Defensive Player of the Year, and I think the choice here, if you've seen preseason so far, when this guy is healthy, he is the best defender on this team, no questions asked, and that is Jonathan Isaac. He is the Magic's real source of rim protection on this team, a team that struggled to protect at the rim last season, and I think he is going to help hugely with that, being in the lineup this year and hopefully being able to stay healthy, of course. But if Jonathan Isaac is healthy, he's going to block shots for you. He's going to deter opponents from the rim. He is going to get steals on the perimeter. He's going to be able to switch onto smaller guys as well. He's a huge asset and a potential Defensive Player of the Year candidate if he's playing enough minutes. And I think the runner-up is also developing into a great defender as well. We talked about him previously, and that is Jalen Suggs. He's definitely the best perimeter defender in terms of guarding guards and playmakers. I think he is that guy that is going to guard all of the best point guards and shooting guards every single night. And that is a huge asset to have those two guys in the lineup for the Magic this year. I anticipate the Magic being, if not a top 10 defense, very close to it. Then we have the Rookie of the Year, and the Magic have two rookies on the team this season in Jett Howard and Anthony Black. So obviously the winner and the runner-up are going to be one of them too. But I have Jett Howard actually being the Rookie of the Year for the Orlando Magic this year. I just think he has more potential to contribute right away than Anthony Black does. Anthony is a fantastic defender. Of course, he's a solid passer, but he does struggle with turnovers. He needs to tighten that handle, and he really needs to work on his shooting from three-point range, from mid-range, from the free throw line. He really is only effective as a scorer at the basket and as a cutter, which he is great at, but he does need to work on his shooting if he wants to get real minutes in this rotation. I think Jett has a immediate skill to help the Magic in shooting, and I think minutes could open up for him potentially if a guy like Gary Harris gets traded at the trade deadline. I think Jett can slide into that spot right away with his 6'8" frame. He has potential on the defensive end as well. He just needs to work on his alertness and awareness on that end. But if he's able to figure that out, I think Jett will definitely be the one having the more effective rookie season, and Anthony Black will be the runner-up. Now going into this new award that they just instilled last season, Clutch Player of the Year. So this is the guy that is the most effective in the last couple minutes of the game and in the fourth quarter. And I think the pick here is pretty obvious. It's Franz Wagner. The guy is the most effective three-level scorer that we have on the team right now. And I think he's the go-to guy at the end of games currently. Obviously, you would hope that Paolo Banchero develops into that type of guy, and I'm sure he will get his opportunities, but I think Franz will be the more effective player in these situations for this coming season. Franz is already a all-star caliber player in my opinion and in most Magic fans' opinion, and I think he's the obvious choice to give the ball to at the end of the games when you need that big basket. And then the runner-up here, I actually have Markelle Fultz, and this is mainly because he is the most effective player at getting to the rim, and when you can break down a defense and hit mid-range like Markelle can, I think he will have the ball in his hands a lot late in games, and he will be a guy that will make a lot of huge baskets for the Magic on their way to the playoffs this season. And then for the MVP this season, the most valuable player, I have Franz Wagner once again. I just think he's gonna have his breakout season in his third season after winning the FIBA World Cup. I think that was a huge experience for him, and I think he's gonna continue to get even better. So I have him as the best player on the team this season. And then the runner-up, I have Paolo Banchero. I think Paolo's going to have a fantastic second year as well. I just think Franz is a little more ahead of him in terms of experience, but Paolo will probably end up being the best player on this team at some point. I just don't think it's going to be this coming season just yet, but he will definitely be one of the top two best players on the team and most important going forward. So talking about a couple of other things before we wrap this video up, I want to quickly go over what I think the rotation will be for the Magic this season. I think the starting lineup will be Markelle Fultz, Jalen Suggs, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, and Wendell Carter Jr. That has been the starting lineup throughout this preseason, and I don't anticipate that changing anytime soon. And off the bench, I think we have Cole Anthony, Gary Harris, Joe Ingles, Jonathan Isaac, and Mo Wagner. Those are the five that I think will mainly start the season off the bench. Obviously, you can't anticipate if there's injuries or if they want to rest certain guys like Gary Harris or Joe Ingles or even Jonathan Isaac for that matter on back-to-backs. I could definitely see that happening to get the rookies Anthony Black and Jett Howard some playing time throughout the season, but that is the rotation I see going into this season and potentially going into the playoffs if nobody gets traded or hurt. And then the third string guys will be Anthony Black, Jet Howard, Caleb Houston, Chuma Okeke, and Goga Batazde, with the two-way guys being Admiral Schofield, Kevon Harris, and Trevelyan Queen. Obviously, those guys are going to get spot minutes throughout the year. I don't think they'll be heavy guys in the rotation for most of the season, especially when it counts, but they will definitely get their chances to prove themselves throughout the season. And then finally, my record prediction for the Magic this upcoming season. I think the Magic will go 43-39 on the season, and I think we will definitely get into that 8th seed for the play-in tournament, and then eventually be able to potentially make the playoffs and have ourselves a first round series for the first time since, I believe, 2020. So I have very high expectations for the Magic this upcoming season. I think they are ready to take that next leap, and I'm looking forward to hear what you guys think down in the comments section. Please remember to subscribe and like the video if you liked it, and most importantly, have a great rest of your day.